On April 27, 2021, a young lady whose name was Inyobong Omoren made a post on her Twitter account. Like many other Nigerians, she was a graduate who was looking for a job opportunity. And according to what she posted on Twitter, she said it was something to keep mind and soul together while contributing dutifully to the organization. She also said her location was Oyo, that she was really good in thinking critically. She also said that she was a fast learner and her CV was available on request. Later on, she pinned the post hoping it to get maximum visibility. Inyobong had just turned 26 years old few days earlier, and she was a graduate of philosophy from the University of Oyo. She was waiting to be mobilized for the compulsory NYSC program, but she decided that while she waited, she should, find something to keep herself, something to, be able to fetch money and pay her bills. Her post got many reactions from people, with many offering encouragement, advice and job leads, and she got a reaction from one person who would later deactivate his account. The person shared a job opportunity, and that was how they started connecting with each other privately in her inbox, and then an interview was later set up and she was getting ready for the interview. The person gave her an address and his phone number, and then looking at the address, she felt like, oh my god, this is going to be far, because the address he gave her was Airport Road in Oyo, which was quite a distance from her house. Although she had never been to that place, but she felt like this was going to be far from her house. So she immediately informed her friend, whose name was Uduakumo, and then the friend gave her an important advice. The friend told her that she should make sure she dropped the details of the person. She should make sure she dropped the phone number and the person's address with one of her relatives. It could be her sister or however, because it was said that she was an orphan. Inyobong heeded to the advice of her friend. She called her sister and gave her the address and the phone number of the person she was going to meet at the Airport Road in Oyo. She told her about the interview and she was getting ready for it. At the day when she wanted to leave for the interview, she realized that the transport she had wasn't going to be enough. So she immediately called her friend, Uduakumo, and then the friend said, okay. The friend helped her and gave her 2,000 naira and said she should add to the one she had. So she now said, thank you. So on that particular day, it was the day of the interview, she set out, she entered a public transport to the place. And then when driving to the place, she realized that the place was still far. Like they have been driving for some minutes, or should I say hours. She realized that the place was very far. She immediately called her friend and told the friend that, Omo, the place is actually very, very far. So the friend was like, if the place is that far, then just know if you start coming back home, like just reconsider it and come back home if the place is that far from your house. But she was like, come back home. After all the transport I've spent, I've already embarked on this journey, so let me just finish it. Then if I get to the place and the job turns out not to be, the pay turns out not to be worth it, I'll just turn it down and then come back home. So the friend now said, okay, that's a good idea, no problem. Minutes later, Uduakumo, who was Inyobong's friend, received a 1-second voice note on WhatsApp. She played it, but she couldn't hear anything that Inyobong was saying, but she knew that Inyobong wanted to tell her something, so she called back immediately. The call was picked, but what Uduakumo heard would haunt her for the rest of her life. When the call ended, she called again, but the call was not answered. She called again and again, knowing fully well that her friend could be in trouble. But the kind of trouble, or should I say danger, her friend Inyobong was in it, what was what she could never have imagined. This time, Uduakumo was already worried about her friend. She immediately contacted someone in Oyo, because at that time she was in Lagos. She had to leave to Lagos in search of greener pastures for a better life. So she had to call someone in Oyo to help her connect with Inyobong's sister. When she finally got connected with Inyobong's sister, she asked the sister if the sister knew about the interview and if the sister had the phone number and the address of the person Inyobong went to see. The sister confirmed that Inyobong had given her the address of the person she went to see and the phone number. So the sister tried calling Inyobong herself, but the call was not answered. At this time, they knew something was wrong. They immediately went to the police to file a complaint, but the police said they cannot file a missing person complaint now, except it is up to 24 hours. They had to go home, and then all through the frustrating night, they had to just wait, not knowing what Inyobong was passing Akinju if she was still alive or not. The next day, they went back to the police station. The next morning, when they went to the police station, the police began their investigation, and then the phone number of the person Inyobong went to visit was posted online. They put the number on Truecaller. Truecaller is an app that identifies phone number. If you put a particular phone number on Truecaller, it's going to identify the owner of that phone number. So when it was put on Truecaller, the name that appeared was Ezekiel Apan. Further digging showed that the phone number belonged to someone called Frank Apan. This whole incident happened in 2021, and as of then, the whole search thing went viral on social media. Nigerians used the hashtag #FindHini to create awareness and pressure authorities to find her. The heat from the case was intense. People were angry and scared, because if this could happen to someone looking for a job opportunity, then it could happen to anyone. A search through Inyobong's job search post on Twitter showed that she had interacted with someone who commented on her post and later got into a conversation with the person, but the person later deactivated his account, and the Facebook account of that person was also deactivated, which all pointed that the person was finding a way to, hide tracks. The person was trying as much as possible to hide his or her tracks. Frank Apan was later established to be Uduak Frank Apan, and when the heat from the case was too much, online was crazy, and reality, everybody was really on the case. He had to run from Akwa Ibom State to the neighboring River State. When the heat from the case had become something he could no longer ignore, he later made a post on Facebook claiming that she had called him on that day, but his phone had gone off, and that he tried calling her to know her whereabouts, but then all to no avail, which was all a lie, a typical lie. The alarm had been raised the very day she went for the interview, which was on Wednesday, but he only made the false claim on Facebook on Friday. Investigations intensified. A divisional police officer and his cousin later convinced him to come over to Oyo to present himself for questioning. As the case intensified and was gaining more attention, other victims reached out to her friend Uduakomo and told her about their terrifying encounter with Frank. They claimed that he used the same job scheme he used on Inyobong to lure them to his place, and then when they came, he drugged them, he violated them. He also took compromising pictures of them, threatening them that if they were to say it to anyone, that he was going to post it on social media. And then he also used it to threaten them, collect money from them. They said they've been living in fear and silence, but they only gathered courage when they heard of Inyobong's case and when the case gained more attention. Frank's father was later arrested as part of their investigation, and then later on, Frank confessed to committing the crime. He made a very disturbing confession. According to him, he said that he had used reverse psychology on her, that he asked her if she could work as a secretary in a farm where hard drugs are kept. She said yes, that she could work, but then he later on disclosed to her that there was no such farm and that he wanted to sleep with her before she left. He said that Inyobong agreed on a condition that he used a condom. During the act, it was said that he removed the condom, and then when she realized what had happened, she became furious and angry, and then she used a stabilizer, which was later established to be a pressing iron. She used it to hit him on the head. She beat his finger and then tried screaming for help. According to Frank, out of anger, he used the same stabilizer to hit her, and then she fell on the ground seriously injured. He said he put a cloth into her mouth to avoid, to stop her from screaming, and then used her own jeans, the jeans she was putting on, he used it to strangle her until she was unalive. After he tied her mouth, he proceeded to hitting her with the stabilizer, afraid she would scream for help, and then before he proceeded to strangle her. This whole incident happened between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. on the 29th of April 2021. Later on, the police went to the scene, and then he showed them the shallow grave where he buried her. They also found other properties like shoes and books, which suggested that other victims might have been there. But he claimed that there were no other victims, that it was only Inyobong. But then people online were saying it's a lie. They don't believe him. Her body was later exhumed. There was still that clothes he used in tying her mouth, as well as the jeans he used in strangling her. And it was said that he he covered her with a blanket before putting her into the shallow grave in the father's compound. Frank was later charged to court, of which he pleaded guilty to the murder of Inyubong, but he said he didn't assault her, so he pleaded not guilty. But because murder was a capital case, the court had to enter a not guilty plea on his behalf, so that they'll be able to prove the case well and then to know if he actually committed the act. Later on, the case took a shocking turn. Frank said that he had fever when they asked him what if he was the one that committed the murder, and that was why he pleaded guilty, that he's not guilty, that the investigating police officer asked him to say it, that he only said it under duress. But however, at this point, there were already evidence that he actually committed the act. The cell phone record showed that him and Inyubong were at the same location when the incident happened, which was enough evidence. When the incident had happened, Frank's father testified that his son had a mental disorder and was only an outpatient in the University of Oyo Teaching Hospital, which was something he said just because he wanted to save his son from conviction. On August 4th, 2022, Justice Basi Nkanang of Akwa Ibom High Court delivered the judgment. Uduak was found guilty and was sentenced to death by hanging for murder and assault of Inyubong. The father and sister were discharged and acquitted. When the verdict was announced, Frank tried running away, like he tried escaping, but then the police officers and some prison guards overpowered him, caught him, and then put him into the van. And then this all showed that he actually committed the act, because him trying to flee actually shows that he's actually guilty. As for Inyubong, she was later laid to rest on the 14th of May 2021. Friends and families came. The weather wasn't that nice, but they still came. It's a very sad story because Inyubong was just 26 years old. She had already graduated from the University of Oyo and was only looking for job opportunities to be able to help herself while she waited for her compulsory NYSC program before she then met the person that took her life. It's very sad, and I pray that she rests in peace. So guys, please don't forget to follow me for more. Like this video, share, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll see you in my next video.